Hey there! In this video, we will see optional pseudo class with example. The optional pseudo class targets inputs that are not specifically set as required. It means optional pseudo class will select those elements, those input fields that do not have required attribute. So this can be very useful when you want to give optional fields a specific look, maybe a slightly less visible than required ones. Let's see with an example. I have created one form, and in form you can see the input field name has no required attribute. For email there is a required attribute, and for other radio and select box there are no required attributes. So if you want to show these non-required input fields in a different way, then you can use this optional CSS pseudo class. Let's open the CSS. You can use optional CSS opacity, let's say 0.4. Okay, and one other property is there, another CSS property is there, transition 0.2 second. Let's see what it will change. Yeah, as you can see, the name, this gender and continent, everything looks little bit different than email because the name has no required attribute, and that's why the optional CSS is getting applied. Okay, and email has required attribute, and that's why no optional property is there. You can also use optional hover pseudo class and add opacity as 1. Okay, let's see. So by default, the opacity is 0.4 for non-required elements, and when you hover, the opacity 1 is getting applied. Let's see, change it to hover. So see, the opacity 1 is getting applied. So this is very useful property when you work with the forms and you have certain elements which are optional and certain elements which are required. Okay, so let's talk about browser support. It is defined in CSS specification level 4. So this is not supported by all the browsers, but you can always use, can I use CSS website to check if it is supported by the modern browsers as well. One more point. The optional CSS pseudo class isn't the exact opposite of not required. There is another property called not sorry required. Okay, this is not the exact opposite because it will match all types of elements while optional is restricted for form elements only. So this is another point you should keep in your mind. I think that's all for this video. Hope you learned something new. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and keep supporting. See you around next time. Thank you.